Yo, what's up YouTube? I hope all of you are having a great day so far. In today's upload, we are going to be going over how to improve your aim on any Call of Duty. So in Call of Duty, having good aim is a very crucial element of the game. If you don't have good aim, you're not going to do so hot. My girlfriend, she misses about 80% of her shots, and so she doesn't do too well. For me, I hit most of my shots, and so typically I'm going to do pretty well. So in this video, I will be giving you guys my best tips and tricks for you to improve your aim as fast as possible. If you find this video helpful at all, a like would be greatly appreciated, really helps me out. And if you enjoyed this video and you like Cold War and Warzone content, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. But without further ado, let's get right into the first tip. So the first thing you want to do if you're looking to improve your aim is go to your settings and find the best sensitivity for you. So a lot of people like to have a high sense. So for me, I used to play on like 1010. A lot of people like to do like 2020 and just like, you know, the super high sense. But the thing you actually want to do is have a little bit of a lower sense. So the pros, for example, they play on a sense of like 4.4 or like 3.3. Like they play on something super low because they don't really need to like react quickly. Usually they have their teammates comms, and so they know where the enemies are going to be, and so they can pretty much just pre-aim lanes. And so by having a lower sensitivity, they usually hit all their shots. And so in games, if you want to hit more of your bullets, you typically want to do a lower sense. But since this is like public matches and you don't really have really good teammates all the time, so in multiplayer you pretty much need a sense where you can still whip on people, you still can have the fast movement, but you still want to be able to hit your shots. And so in my opinion, the best sensitivity for pretty much any Call of Duty game, this goes for multiplayer and Warzone, you want to do like 7.7, 8.8 or 6.6. So for some games it might be a little bit different. So for Warzone, like Modern Warfare, I believe you can go up to 2020. In Cold War you only can go up to 14, but there is the word in the parentheses, and so the 1414 in this game will be like 2020 Modern Warfare. And so you pretty much just got to find like the mix of between. So I think for Cold War I would do like 8.8 because it only goes up to 14, and then for Warzone I would do maybe like 7.7 or 6.6 just because you really need to hit your shots in Warzone. The enemies have lots of plates, and so it helps having like a slower sense. There is lots of really good players that play on like a higher sense, but they're not going to be like super consistent. Sometimes you'll have a creator that you like to watch where they play on like a very high sense. Like there's this Modern Warfare Search and Destroy player named I'm Tab. She or he plays on a very high sense, which is kind of satisfying to watch, but you're only seeing the highlights, and most high sense players aren't the most consistent in their shots. And so if you want a very consistent shot and still be able to turn on people, you want to do like a little bit of a slower sense, so 6.6, 7.7 or 8.8. After you find your perfect sensitivity, you want to go to the low zoom and the high zoom, and you want to find a good sense for this. So for Warzone, I actually like my high zoom to be like 0.85 or 0.8 just because at long range I need to hit lots of shots with like an AMAX or something. It takes a lot of bullets since they have all the plates. In this game, I don't really use the high zoom optics. For sniping, you do want like a little bit of a higher sense just so you can snap onto people, you can do all the drag scopes and everything. And so for this game, since the only time I have a high zoom optic is typically when I'm sniping, so I made it 1.1 just so I can do those flick shots a lot easier. For the low zoom with the iron sights and just like the mini reflex, you want to make sure this is a little bit slower. I like to do like 0.9 or 0.8. At the moment I'm liking 0.8, but sometimes I feel a little bit too slow, so I do 0.9. But so you pretty much don't want this to be 1.0. You want it to be a little bit lower just so it's easier to track your enemies. So now that you guys know what your sensitivity should be and like the range that it should be, if you guys want to practice and get used to it very quick, the aim trainer that I recommend you guys to do is if you're on like a multiplayer game like Modern Warfare or Cold War, you want to go into a custom game against bots. For Warzone, it's a little bit harder because in Warzone there is no custom games. Well, there is a custom game, but you need like a lot of friends on it. I think you need like at least 25 people in your lobby to start it. So the best aim trainer in Warzone is probably going to be Plunder, or if you want you can do Rebirth where you get some lots of gunfights, but in Plunder it's a little bit easier because you do respawn. And then I'll show you guys what to do in the match of Plunder or in the custom game to improve your aim a little bit more. So while I was editing this, I forgot to kind of mention if you're specifically only a Warzone player, like if you only have the game Warzone, if you don't have Modern Warfare or you don't have Cold War. So if you're only a Warzone player, I did mention to go play Plunder. So all these things I'm going to tell you right now for multiplayer, this goes for Plunder except for the game mode settings. And so for the next about a minute to 2 minutes, I'm going to show you guys like the settings of what you should do if you have multiplayer. So if you don't have Cold War or Modern Warfare, I would still watch this chunk because I mentioned things that will actually help you, and there's a part where I tell you to turn off your aim assist, and so you want to make sure you stay tuned for that. So the first way I'm going to show you guys is if you're on a multiplayer game, you want to go into a custom game. Even if you're a Warzone player, if you're solely a Warzone player and you have Modern Warfare, you want to do the same thing that I'm about to show you for Cold War for Modern Warfare as well. It's just you want to go into Plunder if you only have Warzone, if you don't have any of the multiplayer games. But so anyways, for the first thing that you want to do once you go into the custom game is you're going to want to add some bots, obviously. So we're going to be doing an aim trainer. This is how you find your perfect sense and work that perfect sense so you have perfect accuracy. So you want to add as many bots as you want. I usually like to do free for all, and I usually actually save the mode. And so all these settings I show you, I recommend saving it as like a practice mode so it's super easy for you to set up. And then for the map that I recommend you guys to do is just the smallest map, or if you want to practice your long range engagements, you can do one of the bigger maps. But typically I'm just kind of practicing my close range engagements because that's where lots of the movement is, where it's kind of hard to hit the enemies if they're doing slide cancels and everything. And so for Cold War, I'm going to do maybe Nuketown. If you're playing Modern Warfare, I'd probably do like Shoe House, but for Cold War, you want to make sure you do Nuketown wherever that is. I can't really find it. And then for the mode, I recommend you guys to do free for all and then add as many bots as you can. And then for the edit game rules, if you're playing Warzone, you want to increase the health of the enemies to 250 because that's the health value. For Cold War, it's 150, and then Modern Warfare, it's 100. And so if you're playing lots of multiplayer games, like if you're a search and destroy player on Modern Warfare, you want to make sure you don't change the health value of the enemies because you want to get used to that TTK. You want to be able to shoot the correct amount of bullets at the enemy. So you got two guys, you want to be able to time your shots so you can like shoot 4 bullets at this guy knowing it's going to kill him, and then you switch over to the other guy, increasing your chances of actually killing both guys. And so pretty much if you're playing Warzone, increase the health of the bots to the value of Warzone, so 250. For Cold War, you're just going to keep it 150, and then Modern Warfare, it's going to stay at 100. After you do that, you want to increase the time limit to unlimited. For some reason, it only lets me go up to, oh okay, there's unlimited, so you want to set that to unlimited, and then you want to set the points to unlimited too. For the minimap, since we're trying to practice our accuracy, you want to get into as many engagements as you can against the bots. You want to increase this to constant just so you know where the bots are at all times, and it gets you in like a habit of actually looking at your radar. Once you get all your sensitivity settings correct and you get the game mode settings correct, you want to go to your weapons and make a class that you're going to be using a lot that day. Once you do all those things, you want to go back to your settings, and then you actually want to go to where your sensitivity, where your aim assist is, and you want to turn your aim assist off. And so we're pretty much going to get about 100 to 500 kills on the bots with no aim assist, and then for the last 100 bots, we'll turn on aim assist so you can get used to how the aim assist feels. But we're going to get a lot of kills without aim assist, so pretty much this is going to make it so you're a very good player without aim assist, and then if you have aim assist, you'll be an extremely good player. So I just got into the game, I got no aim assist on. I'm going to choose a gun that I want to practice with. For example, we're going to do Mac 10, and so now I'm just going to get about 100 to as many kills as you want with no aim assist. The more kills you get, obviously the better you're going to get, but it does take a while. And so I pretty much literally just play this, get a ton of kills with no aim assist, and then after you get those tons of kills with aim assist, get about a 50 to 100 kills with aim assist, and you'll see the difference in your aim and how you're actually kind of locking onto people. So I can just do this for a while and just practice finessing people, finessing these bots with no aim assist, leading to me having better aim. My aim is kind of doggy right now just because I haven't played in a couple days, was out on vacation, and so pretty much this is just going to make it so I can kind of get back in the groove very quick. I even like to do this before I actually hop on and like stream with you guys. I don't always, but it would be good if I did this before streaming because then you're kind of warmed up already. And so if you are a streamer and you want to be warmed up instantly and have your viewers that just come for the noties, they can see you in your perfect form if you just practice like this for about 30 minutes a day. This is what a lot of people do for like mouse and keyboard. They have like aim trainers. Sadly, as console players, well, I guess I do have a PC, but there's no good really PC aiming software for controllers. I know you can do like aim labs and they support controller, but I don't think it's that good. It's kind of hard to get the same sensitivity as it is on keyboard and mouse. And so this is probably the best way if you're a controller player to improve your aim and just to warm up. Mouse and keyboard's lucky. They just get those aim trainers and they get everything. They can even do this on top of the aim trainers. And that's how you can really see the keyboard and mouse people be really good because they just have so many resources to get better. For the next thing I want to show you guys, so this is going to be Recoil Control. And so for example, I'm using the Mac 10. If you're really bad with the Mac 10 but you want to be good with it and you want to learn the recoil, and you can do this with pretty much any gun. Just the Mac 10 has a lot, so it's a good example. Fuck off, dude. No one likes you. Oh my god, a bot killed me. So I'm going to give my Mac 10. I'm going to go to a range. I can ping it. It's a UAV. So this is 22 meters. That was left on my D-pad, just so you know. You don't have to ping. I just like to ping just to know how far I'm shooting at the... Fuck off, dude. Let me talk. So you don't have to ping. I just like to ping just so I know how far I am from the wall and just knowing how much recoil is at which distance. And so now I'm just going to shoot, and right here you can just practice doing your recoil control. Seems pretty basic and common sense, but a lot of people don't realize they can just go into custom games and just practice the recoil control right here. You do run out of ammo, but you can just continue just to practice it, and then you can try shooting the enemies at range. And so going against bots really helps a lot, especially with no aim assist. So you can practice your recoil control, you can practice your accuracy. So with the Mac 10, sometimes before a video with the Mac 10, and I want to make sure I have good accuracy and a good recoil control, I'll just go into bots and I'll shoot against the wall and just get used to the recoil pattern, learn the recoil pattern, and then all this will just transition into the game. For the next and last thing I want to show you guys, so this is like your centering. You want to make sure your centering is really good. So with the centering, so you got this white dot in front of your screen, you want to be able to move around the map and kind of keep this white dot on the enemies, like where their chest is going to be. And if you can get used to putting this dot on them and snapping onto them, you're going to be able to hit the first shot most of the time, especially if you're doing lots of moving. You break their camera, and then you have very good centering, and so you're going to see the enemy first, and then you have very good centering. You can snap onto them, you have good accuracy, good recoil control. And so during bots, sometimes I like to run around and find like an object and just kind of trace things with this, and then I get kind of used to controlling the center of my screen. I just like to run around and trace things. And so by doing this, you get really used to controlling the center of your screen. What you can also do is run around and kind of quickscope the enemies with your red gun. So if you see an enemy, you can go like boom, boom, and just practice your centering. You want to make sure your centering is perfect, because if you don't have good centering, the enemy might have better centering than you, and then you'll lose that gunfight. And so just make sure this dot is on their chest, and you want to make sure you can get good at the centering. And then if you have good movement, you can have good centering, and just overall you can be a very good player. What you can also do to improve your centering is learning your 360s. Know how to do like a 360 perfectly, and so if an enemy is behind you, you'll know how much you should drag your stick to the left or right to be able to turn on the enemy. And the 360s, just being able to do perfect ones, will just give you full control of the sticks. So you have a very low sensitivity like a 3 or 4, you won't really be able to do 360s as easy because it's really slow. If you have a high sense, you can practice doing your 360s pretty easily. It's kind of hard to time it, but you can do like super quick 360s, which is like the one reason I like high sense. But if you're trying to overall be a very good player, you want to play on like a little bit of a slower sense. So with all that said, that is going to wrap it up for this video. We covered having good centering, we went over some aim trainers, your sensitivity, and so overall if you incorporate all those and you really do practice, might be a little bit boring to practice, but practice makes you better. So for like the NFL, they do tons of practicing, which probably is like a little bit fun, but it's not that fun compared to the real game. But if they do lots of practice, then in the real game they'll do a lot better. And so this practice might not be too fun, but you know, practice makes perfect. You will become a better player the more time you put into this. If you found this video helpful at all, remember to hit that like button, really helps me out. And I think that is everything I want to say. I hope I did help you guys out. I hope all of you have a great rest of your day, and I'll hopefully see you in my next video.